Hey there, Doodle Gang! Doodle here, and today we are doing a little bit of a deep dive discussion on a topic I actually posted on my Twitter. Of course, if you haven't seen my Twitter or haven't followed it, please do. It's Doodle by Daylight, D-Y Light, because you would have seen this post beforehand, and I did post this drawing that I did. It was just more of a funny haha poke fun at the community, just random shiz post. It was about Springtrap being added into Dead by Daylight. In the caption, of course I'll have screenshots because I finally figured out how to do screenshots for share play. So no need to pat me on the back or anything. You guys actually get visuals this time. So on the screen, showing right now is, you guys seriously still think this game is meant to be scary? And it's supposed to be having someone complain about Springtrap will never fit into Dead by Daylight. He's not scary enough to fit the environment. The immersion will be ruined. Blah blah blah. And throughout the post I said the immersion in question, and I show a lot of things that break Dead by Daylight's immersion, which first is the Attack on Titan skins, for obvious reasons being anime related, in a horror game. The snowman from the Chill Freeze, the Chill Dev event, whatever it's called. Again, it's snowmen. You really have to take the understanding of killers being able to go into snowmen and stuff like that. That definitely hurts the immersion a little bit. Hook on You is a great example, especially the skins being added in game. Even though it's a separate game, just adding the skins in game already takes the cake for that. Now this one has been a little bit of a controversial take. I put the Silent Hill Robbie mascots in my post, and I wasn't saying that Silent Hill isn't scary. I was doing more of the point of mascots can be put in the game, because you have Clown's elephant outfit, which has already been shown in the post and everything. So I was going more of a, if bunnies mascots can be in the game, Springtrap can be in the game, because he's a bunny mascot killer. And finally, even though there is more, I just put things on top of my head, and of course I'll get to it. I did forget Nick Cage, but we will talk about it during the video. And then lastly, I did add PUBG Dwight. And honestly, it's just totally surprising that they put a Battle Royale skin for Dwight in the game, and it breaks the immersion. And it just surprises me greatly that people will complain about the immersion of Dead by Daylight when you have these obvious immersion breaks in the game. And there is plenty more we will get into the discussion of, because we're actually going to go through some of the top comments of this post and just overall talk about it, because I thought I just can't miss this opportunity. I gotta talk about this video that I made and talk about the comments of it. We're gonna have some negative ones, some positive ones, and just overall everything. So let's get to it. So we are going through the most liked comments, and this is the first one by idiot. Thank you, idiot. Rocking that Ash profile picture. Game won't be scary if Springtrap is here. Yeah, let's just act like we don't got Ash and Nicolas Cage on the way. And I said for real with a skull emoji, because it just, Nicolas Cage is in the game and Ash as well is in the game, so it kind of just it's the icing on the cake at this point of immersion is no longer here in Dead by Daylight. And it's so surprising how survivors people who play, Dead by Daylight, killers, survivors, anybody who plays it just will make great excuses like this that Springtrap cannot be Dead by Daylight. And on the next one, we have Maddie here. Well, about the lore, since when has DVD lore make sense? And I said I don't even read through all of it. At this point, just like someone else explained it to me. Now, to clarify, I actually do read Dead by Daylight lore. I know a lot about Dead by Daylight lore, but some things I just don't want to read through, and I really like looking through discussion videos instead, because it's a way more easier to understand. And I think I have read through the end transmission lore because it really intrigued me. I know I haven't read much else, but discussion videos really help through that. And at this point, Dead by Daylight lore is all over the place and still, mysterious and unknown. You know what I mean? Because it's just it's a simple basics. A god who has taken people from multiple universes and crap like that to play cat and mouse to feed its hunger for entertainment. Like, that's basically the sum of the game. And with all the character lore and stuff, it's very interesting. And you could probably argue with me going, well, over the years they started doing more and more lore to, make their characters more lively. And I'm like, of course, yeah, that's really great. That's awesome. But at the same time, it's like, am I gonna read through all of that? Paragraphs and paragraphs of character lore when someone else can do it and explain it to me? I mean, you know where I'm coming from when it comes to that, because it did take me a little while to read through Gabriel's lore because of my attention span, but I was very intrigued with it, and I just kept on going. But if, like, reading someone's, like, Skull Merchant's lore, I was very, very, very bored of it. And, of course, I am jabbing at Skull Merchant, and I will more in this video, so stay tuned for that. Now, the next few comments are just, stuff I've agreed on and liked. So first from Fope, they act like DVD was ever scary. From Deputy Liam, good horror monsters are scary, a little goofy. The Silent Hill monsters are a good example of this. And Smelly saying people act like Springtrap can't be scary. I think over like the whole drama of Dead by Daylight and FNAF and like FNAF in general with the fandom and stuff, it's just, is the game really scary? Is the characters really scary? Because in my opinion, I feel like kids stuff and like stuff that's been made in, fandom base wise has kind of ruined it. Kind of ruined FNAF's like reputation of being scary, and especially over the years of how FNAF has been handled. Now, of course, I know Security Breach has had a big impact on Five Nights at Freddy's. And for me, I actually have finally finished it, and let me tell you, I was unimpressed. I love the game, but it was just a hassle to play, and it took me, how long since the game's been out? Freaking last year, 2 years ago? It's been a while, and it just, I didn't like it very much gameplay-wise. It was super laggy for me, and it was, the instructions were very vague, and I wasn't sure how to get any of the endings. I only knew how to get the disassemble Fanny ending because I stumbled across the room, and it just, and plus Security Breach isn't scary at all, trust me. The only time I've ever jumped while playing Security Breach is during the repair sections when I accidentally mess up on the little buttons, because I can't keep track of the buttons very quickly because they flash real fast, and sometimes you can't even tell when the yellow ones flash because just how fast it is. So I've gotten jump scared many times due to that. But regardless, FNAF is scary in its own way, but with the later installments, it has definitely died it down to a more kid-friendly tone. So here's to hoping Ruin actually does some scary stuff, but I really don't expect it. At the same time, I'm pretty excited. I'll be playing it, of course. I'll boot up Security Breach one last time and play it. So, but I think overall, Springtrap can be scary in his own way. But thinking on a standpoint to remove all the kiddie content, all the memes, just solely FNAF 3 on itself, just think about that. It would be pretty crazy with all the lore currently to FNAF 3. He's definitely scary. But, of course, the dying down on scary content has definitely ruined FNAF. But hey, it happens when you have a more general kid audience who really likes it. It just happens, and you can't really control it, unfortunately. Now, the next one we have from Yabba Yabba Doo, the Skull Merchant. She's more fine than scary. And I said, fan service, terrible design, and power, just the worst killer in DVD. Night's more fun than her. And I'm going to stand by it. I do not like Skull Merchant. She is not scary, and she is probably the worst killer to come in Dead by Daylight. And everyone can argue on me with this one, but she just is. It's not a race here. She's last place, and it's just so sad of how much potential she could have had in the game. But unfortunately, fan service has really ruined her. Now, I do not mind fan service. I really don't. But when it becomes excessive, and a main focus to a character, it's pretty disappointing. And especially her background, her backstory, like I said before, it's just super boring to read through, and it's pretty pathetic. I could understand from it like a sideline, but like she just got super jealous, and she just wanted to make her dad proud, but she just didn't achieve it well. And don't get me wrong, the twins are freaking great for the chapter. I think that's the only good thing about that chapter was the twins coming in and their diverse lines and whatnot. But at the same time, it is just Skull Merchant is so bad. I hope in the future they might tweak her, because I don't know if they were officially doing that, but I heard a lot of people talking about it. So just maybe in the future rework her, rework the twins, do just anything to make Skull Merchant better. Because I had a lot of hope for her, but I feel like the teasing of her, when the teasers came out, everyone just had the thought of a Terminator-like killer, and it just ruined it. Because then you got hot Brazilian woman, so yeah. If I could go back in time, if I was working for Behavior, I would definitely change her design, change her Mori, and maybe work on her power. Her backstory's fine. It's not great. It's pretty poor done. But she's just not a good killer. I don't know what else to tell you, man. I'll go on and on about Skull Merchant, but this is not what the video is about. So, on the next one, we got Pixel here. The only reason I think Springtrap Dream is dead is because Dredge feels like a reskinned FNAF kid. Jump scares and power outages. And I said, I mean, DVD has, even though I said had, Doodle, you dumb Doodle, your spelling errors. Reskin powers already, like Huntress and Trickster, Skull Merchant, and Knight. It's not new to have reskin powers. You have Huntress and Trickster, obviously. That's a good example, and Skull Merchant and Knight. 3 geners, and you have Huntress, Huntress and Trickster are both projectile killers. And it's never going to end with reskin killers, of course, even though, Dead by Daylight, it's hard to have new powers in the game, so it's a total surprise if you ever get that. So, honestly, people should stop complaining if you do get a reskin. If it's not, exactly the same, then maybe there's a little complaining, but if it's something like Trickster to Huntress, that's totally fine. It's 2 different stuff. I feel like Trickster's the easier route to Huntress, since you don't have to only have 4 hatchets on you. For Trickster, you could have 34 knives, and you can miss if you want to. It's not going to really affect you in the end, unless you're like me, who just sucks at Trickster, even though he used to be my main, and he's like Prestige 11. So, anyway, up to the next one. Now this is by the Gay Owl. I don't know, I still hope he don't get in. I ain't got a good reason, I just really don't like the community or the franchise. Hater gonna hate, I suppose. And I said, honestly, I don't blame you. It could end up being a great thing, or the whole community will be burning down. Who knows, really? And I'm not going to touch on the Scott Cawthon issues. That you already know what I'm talking about, and I'm not going to touch on it. But for me, I think Scott's still a great man. But that's all I'm really going to discuss about it, because that problem has been arising when anytime Springtrap was mentioned, especially when the Pinhead drama came around with deciding, is it going to be a FNAF chapter or a Pinhead chapter? Of course, it became a Pinhead chapter, and you know how people are. And blaming that one certain thing that happened, and just, never having anything else to complain about Scott. So, it could happen again, and it wouldn't surprise me if it did. But at the same time, I feel like FNAF could be, or if it ever does, could be a good thing for the Dead by Daylight community, because it could be just like another Stranger Things, even though nothing can go up to the hype of Stranger Things, because Stranger Things was probably the best thing that's ever happened to Dead by Daylight. Even though I wasn't around at the time when Stranger Things came out, I soon came in a little after when Oni and Yui came out, so seeing Stranger Things, actually, if I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong saying that, because I feel like Stranger Things was Stranger Things, then Oni and Yui. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was the top of my head, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I really enjoyed it. And when they were going away, I didn't have them yet because I didn't know Stranger Things. I never watched it till about a year before Stranger Things 4 came out. So I knew Stranger Things for at least like a year at best. I cannot remember correctly, but I have known it since it came out, but I never watched it in its entirety when the other seasons came out. So Stranger Things does mean a lot to me. So here's the prayer to God Stranger Things comes back, because Tweet, you son of a biscuit, you are doing so good on Rickrolling the Netflix Twitter. It's so freaking funny. Good luck on you, man. But anyway, it could end up being the best thing ever, or it could end up being the worst thing ever. And I can't really tell you which it would be, unless it does come out. So, take that one as you will. And let's move on to a few more comments and discuss on them. Here's Help saying, I'm more confused about what his power could be. And I replied with, Prob should watch the concept chapter on him by, I'm totally gonna butcher this dang thing, Wraithlinks. Sorry. They do some pretty good concepts. And honestly, go watch their concepts. I love and adore them. They just recently came out with an Amnesia one, and honestly, it's such a good one. Trust me. And this is not like, a promotion or anything. Just, a little shout out to these lovely guys, because I remember they have a Slenderman one, they have a Pennywise one, the FNAF one obviously, and I recommend checking them out. They're pretty dang cool. The next one is by I Don't Know with the perfect Ellie profile picture. Bro didn't even include Nick Cage. I forgore, okay? I wasn't thinking about it. Skull. Here's one by Maple. Bunny Legion is from Silent Hill, and it amazes me how clueless the actual good horror games our FNAF fans are. Now, unfortunately for me, I don't know Silent Hill, so take it as you will. No, the only reason why I stuck it there is because a mascots can easily fit in. I haven't seen Silent Hill, unfortunately, but it's scary. The only things I've ever seen for Silent Hill is the Monsters and Mortals chapter and one of the movies. I'm pretty sure the movie's still on Netflix. But I do have an understanding of the game. I've been trying to save it for myself when I get the collection for my PS3, so you'll hear from me when I finally get to play that. Money and some things you just cannot find on YouTube very well, because I'm more of a person who likes to watch commentary stuff, and I really don't want to spoil Silent Hill for myself. I really want to play it on my own. Ignore my phone, just a little dingy-dinged. But at the same time, yes, I don't know Silent Hill very well, but that is not the reason why I put Robbie in the post again. I only put him in there because of mascots, and trust me, I do have one of the Robbie skins, so I absolutely adore it, so. And these are two from Apparently Bird. DVD is very silly. Of course it is super silly. And from Nunya, none your business. It makes sense in terms, lore, potential, mechanics, perks, iconography, and I said that so wrong, and horror. And of course, yes, I totally agree on both of those. Super silly, and it just makes sense for Dead by Daylight in general. And I won't really elaborate more on that because I already have a lot of times. It's so good. I want Springtrap in the game at this point, Here's one from Jacob. Also, I feel like the entity would most def want a mass murderer who lives out of pure rage. It sounds like a good target for the entity. And Greedo says, yeah, and the one who is sick in the head too, but question is, could the entity bring in another versions too? Like Glitch Trap or Burn Trap? And I said, Fanny, because I feel like Fanny needs more spotlight. And, of course, in a tweet I made on my main Twitter, of course, I think it was my main Twitter, I can't remember which Twitter, I have too many Twitters. I have said my dislikes and likes for Security Breach on a Security Breach post, and I said I thought it wasn't the best game, but what disappointed me the most was Fanny not getting enough screen time. And, of course, she had a great build-up and help wanted, but, unfortunately, in Security Breach, they did her so dirty. They just did her so dirty, man. It's so unbelievable. So, if they could redeem the FNAF franchise, most importantly, redeem Fanny, I would just say put her in Dead by Daylight. I don't even care if you're gonna make it a Legion skin, because that would perfectly just fit. Put Julie in that spot, because it would. Or Susie. Or any other. Or have, like, different variants. Susie getting the old mask, and Julie getting the newest outfit. You know? Anything like all the concepts art you've seen of Fanny and her early states with Help Wanted, because people made so many great concepts with her. So, something as of that would be super freaking cool. And of course, that is going to be my last comment, but I realized I needed to share one more before we end this 20-minute long video. A discussion about how hot Wesker is in the game in Springtrap isn't. These two have been arguing in the section, and I'm just sitting here with my popcorn, and Racy have every right to explain and tell how ugly Wesker is, because in my opinion, like, yeah, sure, Wesker is sexy, but his attire is a little question. It's a little questionable, and just I have one section of the comments here because I won't be showing it all there because it's just there's like 12 freaking comments here, and I'm just too lazy to screenshot all of them. Yes, I'm too lazy to screenshot them. But Ray says, I mean, you just described the Resident Evil chapter, so Talent said, yeah, but Resident Evil fanbase is chill, and Wesker is actually hot, so it makes sense to throw the game for him. And Ray says, no, they aren't. Ew. And never see Leon not throw every game, no matter what killer. And I honestly agree with Reese here. The amount of people that throw games for Wesker, me included. I mean, I don't throw it every single game, only when it's like, you know, silly and necessary. Like, just for laughs, but, that's just very bold of you, Talon, whatever, Talon? To say that the Resident Evil fan base is chill. For somebody who has been in the fandom since 2017, even though I am not a veteran, I did not join Resident Evil Twitter till 2021. The Resident Evil fandom is not chill. They're not chill. I'm not going to elaborate any further on that, but holy cow, just, that's such a bold statement to say. And Wesker, sure, he is pretty attractive, but at the same time, this man is wearing a leather in African heat. And Leon's are just babies in the game. I see more Chris's throw than Leon's, by the way. So that's an opinion I can't really state on. I can't really agree with. Because everyone, no matter what survivor, it doesn't even matter whose survivor it is, anyone can throw. Even though we do label survivors as like, oh, you know, Nea is the most toxic one, Michaela's, Nea's, and Figman's are, and then you have the whites are mostly like, oh, there might be the toxic ones, or the babies, and you know, it's just how it is, it depends, but everyone plays how they want, and no matter what survivor they're gonna throw or not. Trust me, I've been there, I've seen it, and I have, of course, I don't think I consider myself throwing, because I never really throw. I just, you know, goof around. Dead by Daylight, to me, is not competitive. Even though some people think it is. Anyway. Let's just conclude this video. Alright, so, to conclude this video, everyone argues like toddlers sometimes, and even on a subject like this. And honestly, for me, I don't care if FNAF gets in or gets not in, you know. I feel like if it did, I would honestly be so excited. So if little kid Doodle back in 2015, or like Doodle back in like 2019 when I started Dead by Daylight, if I knew that Springtrap was going to be in the game, even though we don't know, but like if it ever happened, I think my little me would be super freaking excited, because I was definitely more into FNAF at the time. And before anybody points fingers at me going, Doodle, that you're so cringe, you're a hardcore FNAF fan, babe, I haven't really been active in the FNAF community in years. Yeah, I do occasionally draw FNAF, but the only reason has been is due to the FNAF movie hype. And yes, I'm going to be watching that when it comes out. I'll probably be streaming it. Don't test me, I will. And FNAF has affected me a lot in my childhood. And of course, to like a lot of other people, Markiplier's first Let's Play, that was my introduction to the game. And of course, it has really branched me out to start drawing, and here I am still drawing due to FNAF, and it's such a blessing for me. So I honestly don't mind if, it gets into Dead by Daylight, because I would be pretty excited, but it honestly depends on the devs and everything. You can't really do much about it, so yeah, that's probably the only reason why I ever really did that post, was just to be funny, to, pick at the people who just say the immersion. And of course, immersion has been a big topic recently in the Dead by Daylight community, so I thought I would just discuss about it a little more. And I do hope this video was kind of amusing to go through some opinions and, listen to me ramble for a little while, because I haven't made a rant video in a while, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this opportunity and make one, because why not? It's right there for me to grasp. So here's to see if this video will be positive or negative, because people can be that way. So this is all just for fun. Don't take anything I said seriously. Maybe a little bit seriously on Skull Merchant, but overall, it's just people's opinions, and I'm stating my opinion, and opinions are pretty important Dead by Daylight. So overall, if you do enjoy the content that I've given you, hit that subscribe button, Goober. We made it to 60 subscribers, which is totally insane. I definitely 100% appreciate you guys for supporting this channel. And if you want more rant videos like this, just leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, give a comment of what your situation, what your stance is in the Dead by Daylight community with Springtrap. Because anyone can have their own opinions. Do you want them in the game? Do you not want them in the game? What's your, overall just bam, Doodle? This is why I don't like Springtrap in it. This is why I want Springtrap in it. And if you have other chapters or anything in that matter that you want to discuss about, go ahead. I love to hear them. I always see everyone's comments. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And if you have a Twitter, I have a Twitter, Goober. If you want to see exclusive art, updates, and me rambling on Dead by Daylight topics and reposting Dead by Daylight stuff, reminders, and stuff like that, go follow my Twitter. It's Doodle by Daylight. DY Light. And yeah, I think that'll be it for here. I hope you have a fantastic day in the fog, and I'll see you in the next trial or rant video, whenever that will be. Dewey is just doing such a good job in ratioing the Geek Netflix account, for reals. And of course, if you want to see an explanation video on the Stranger Things, overall what's happening right now with Stranger Things, I recommend checking out Schmuckle's video on it that he recently just did, because I don't think I will be discussing about it, but I would recommend Schmuckle's. So, take it as you will, Goober. I'll see you later. Even though I did say it in the beginning of the video, yes, hi, if you stayed this long, I just wanted to add at the end, just to repeat myself, please do not harass anybody or anyone on any of these type of topics, especially on my post. This is all just for fun, and I don't want you guys harassing anybody. It's just a big no-no, and I'm worried that might happen because some people might not agree with opinions, and I just don't do that. It's a big no-no. Don't be a loser. Okay, thank you. I'll actually see you goobs later. I'll be watching. Doodle always watches. Okay, bye.